Let's go back.
What's going on, Junkie Nation? It's Kenshiro. We're back with Culture Junkies Live. We want to welcome you all to a fantastic show. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff today, but first let me introduce who's going to be on the show. Real quick, what's up to the great Dadakuji? What's up, man?
How you guys doing out there in Junkie Nation? I hope you all doing well.
What's up, Josh? How are you?
I am fantastic.
And joining us once again is the great Eric Joseph. What's going on, my friend?
Hi. Decided not to cosplay this week.
Oh, we thank you for that. That's much appreciated. Maybe people can see those pearly whites and those baby blues of yours now, right?
My eyes are green and my teeth are brown.
So anyway, guys, so hey, today we're gonna be talking about a lot of things. Number one is the news that Flash is going to be named Flashpoint. We've kind of already been down this road before, but it brings up a lot of interesting possibilities, I guess we could say, for the DC universe moving forward. But you know, there was something else that kind of came out. I think it dropped yesterday, and I kind of want to get you guys' opinion on it real fast, and that is the release of Domino. Domino got the first pictures released by Ryan Reynolds yesterday, and the reception has been fairly mixed, wouldn't you guys say? What do we think about Zazie Beats as Domino? What do you guys think?
I guess I'll start off because I was talking about her on the pre-show. As with any deviation from the original comic book look, there's going to be positive and negative feedback. With it being Domino's first appearance on the silver screen, I can understand why diehard comic book fans are probably put off, but then at the same time, you're probably going to have the people who this is their first exposure to Domino, and this will be the version they cosplay. But when I looked at it, it's like if someone handed you this picture and you had no knowledge of who it was and asked you what Marvel character it was, you'd probably say Misty Knight. But to me, it's like it looks like Domino by way of Quentin Tarantino, if that makes sense to some viewers. But I don't know, for me, all we can really do is go in, hope for a good performance. Like I said, it's nothing new in Hollywood, especially for Fox, to change characters' looks. So my analogy, let's hope she's more Margot Robbie Harley Quinn than she is Jared Leto Joker. So
naturally you'd say that. Naturally.
We're probably I'm saying, because I thought Jared Leto's Joker sucked. But
oh wow. Hello. Wow.
Considering they want to build these characters like Domino, Cable, not just for because there's gonna be a Deadpool 3, but we figure X-Force is probably gonna get here before Deadpool 3 does. So you're going to want to hope that these characters catch on, because you're probably going to be seeing a lot more of them. So
Josh, what did you think?
I mean, I think that she'll probably do a fine job. I haven't really seen her acting, but I mean, I'm assuming that if they hired her, they thought that she was good for the part. Yeah, people are going to get all bent out of shape when you start messing with their fandoms. I mean, we've seen a lot of changes from the actual comic book appearance of certain characters, and at this point, it really shouldn't surprise people. I've seen some people say, well, they changed the entire origin of Deadpool, so you shouldn't be too upset about them making Misty Knight, she's making Domino not look exactly like she looks in the comic books. Why are you so upset about that? But you weren't upset about them changing the origin of Deadpool. I will say this, I mean, pre the movie coming out, people didn't know how much of the actual change was going to be made. So, people weren't going to obviously get upset about it beforehand. I mean, I will say this. I mean, I think it needs to be said. I mean, I kind of do feel like she was a diversity hire. She's kind of a token hire. I mean, maybe that's I don't know. Maybe that's just my perspective on it. I mean, I think that she looks great. I mean, obviously she is smoking hot. But I don't know why they couldn't have gone, even if they went with the same actor, went with the pale skin black spot.
Now,
I think that
let me say this to you guys out there. I put on the screen a slideshow, and maybe you guys are watching the show at home. You can see right now this picture right here on the screen. Zazie Beats, as you can see, she's laying on Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. That's who you see her as, you know, her natural kind of light skin complexion. And actually, wasting no time, we've had some cosplayers actually jump in and replicate the look. And this one right here, I don't remember her name, but she doesn't look bad. But this picture right here, Dave Perrin, who is one of the junkies in our group, he actually drew the miniseries for Domino for Marvel Comics, and he actually did a light skin, pale skin with the black eye patch look on there. So in a way, I'm kind of with you, Josh. I can understand, you know, somewhat of the outcry of, you know, why couldn't we get that, because it doesn't look that bad. It really doesn't look that bad.
Yeah, I just don't understand. Like, I mean, even the fact that they kind of went, it looks like they decided to do like the whole vitiligo thing with the eye patch. I don't know. It seemed like Deadpool was successful. I don't see why they're shying away from like just going full out the comic book version of this character. So, I mean, like I said, even if they went with the same actress, I don't think that there's any.
Well, Dido, let me throw it to Dido real fast, and then I'll let you talk, Eric. Dido, you and I, we talked about this a little bit in the pre-show, and you brought up something that you're upset by, and you know, people need to understand that these movies, they are adaptations. They're not meant to be 100% literal translations from comic book to film. And you kind of had you know, an interesting take on that. Why don't you tell people what you thought?
Well, as you guys out there may know, you may not know, but I'm going to tell you right now. I like movies. I like going to movies. I like watching movies. I like some comic books. I like reading some comic books. They're fine and dandy. An adaptation is just that. It's an adaptation. It does not need to be 100%. It does not need to follow it 100%, because you know exactly what was going on. You have no reason to watch this movie. You just read the comic book, just read the book, just do whatever. It's supposed to be slightly different. First off, comic books, movies, video games are a lot longer when you play them, watch them, read them, what have you. And a movie has a set time, usually 2 hours, sometimes 2.5 hours. If you're extremely lucky or unlucky, it's 3 hours, what have you. It's not going to be exactly the same. Now, in this manner, they could have made her look like the comic book character, but they chose not to. So what? If the character displays somewhat of what the character does in a comic book, if the movie's entertaining, that should be the only thing. One of the things I shared in the pre-chat was just watch the movie, just enjoy it. Like we were chatting about what movie were we chatting about in the pre-chat? I already forgot because I think it's too much alcohol in my brain. But it's basically, for me, it's just no, it's not gonna be the same. It's just not, and you set yourself up for disappointment whenever you go into a movie and expecting this is gonna be exactly like the comic book. Because one thing that I've learned, it's called the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, granted, Deadpool is not exclusively is not really in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but who cares? It's the cinematic universe. It's not the comic universe. Which comic universe you're going to try to pick? It's not the freaking book universe. It's the Marvel Cinematic Universe or a movie universe. Just take it as it is and try to watch the movie and enjoy it. Because, I mean, she's Domino. She's just going to look good.
No, Marcus Smith and Eric, I want you to jump in now, too. But Marcus Smith brings up a good point. The Power Rangers movie that came out earlier this year was pretty much a glorified adaptation. It wasn't really the Power Rangers the way it was. I mean, it was just an adaptation. I mean, really, you got to take the good with the bad. I mean, so Eric, jump in. What were you going to say before I cut you off earlier?
Yeah, I was going to say how people, you know, it's not even necessarily limited to ethnicity. Remember, you know, when we think of certain characters that might be albino, remember the uproar 10 years ago when Heath Ledger was not a perma-white Joker and he was just a guy who painted his face, and how so many purists were up in arms about that. I know that's kind of
I do remember that.
that's what's reminding me of right now. But I think one reason why many people are so up in arms is characters go through evolution even in the comics over the years, and there's really been pretty much only one singular look for Domino. Am I right? Just basically jumpsuit, you know, that hairstyle and whatever. So that's what people really got set on. And as you know, I've had arguments ad infinitum about hey, Harley Quinn's allowed to have other costumes. You know, she's been around for 25 years. Right. In the past few years, she's had a variety of looks through the comics, Injustice, Arkham games, and other things. And Suicide Squad kind of ripped on the New 52 a bit. Was its own thing, but I mean, this, who knows? Maybe at least after this, I don't think they're going to make like a you know, exact Zazie Beats translation in the comic books, but I wouldn't doubt if we see some costume changes to make it more movie, if that makes sense, because Marvel kind of likes to match up their movies with the comics, so we'll see.
Yeah, I can
also
touching
on what you said, Ken, about the Power Rangers being an adaptation and not being, you know, an absolute faithfulness to kind of the characters that people grew up with. People, you know, me, that, you know, that show came out when I was in probably 5th or 6th grade, so you know, I kind of wanted to see it, but I will say this: $141 million worldwide gross. It was grossly, to use a bad pun, grossly underperformed, and it might have been because it so diverged from the source material and what people expected to see from it. Could have just been because it was a bad movie. I haven't seen it yet, so I can't say with any certainty whether one or the case is, but I mean, I don't think that this is such a dramatic you know, shift from the character that people would be up in arms about it. I mean, the way that they released the picture is absolutely perfect. When I saw the picture, I was like, okay, cool, that's Domino. And like for the first 15 seconds of looking at the picture, I didn't even realize she's laying on the bearskin Deadpool.
Right.
And then when I saw that, I was like, this picture is perfect. This picture is absolutely what it needed to be. So I mean, people are gonna get frustrated. I mean, obviously, Darian makes a good point in saying that, you know, it's an adaptation. There's gonna be changes. He's absolutely right. You know, novels. You know, we do have people read the book. You know, if you just want to see, if you just want the best version of Pride and Prejudice, just read the novel. Don't go see any of the various of the 47 versions that there are. But the fact of the matter is that there are several variations and adaptations.
Well, you know, and you know, think about it like this too. I mean, The Hobbit, which came out in the movie theaters, was 3 movies. Most of that shit wasn't even in the books, dude. It was an adaptation. Exactly. You know, it wasn't meant to be. I will say this: people
also didn't care for The Hobbit versus stuff. The Lord of the Rings. Yeah, no, they also thought it was, you know, some of Jackson's lesser good work of the movies that he had done recently, and you know, there's something to be said about that as well. But this is not that. I mean, the thing is we haven't seen a single shot of her acting in this film as that character. You know that she's going to be a badass like Black Widow. They're, you know, if they could make a character that nobody cared about, like you know, Negasonic, if they can
Warhead,
make and a character who's completely different from how she is in the comic books.
Yeah.
And if they can make people, you know, actually appreciate that character and think that she's cool, then people are going to get over this. It's, you know, I don't know that obviously she's probably no Heath Ledger, but the fact of the matter is that if she's good in the role in 6 months, you know, no one's going to care.
No one's going to care.
No one's going to care.
Eric, last word before we move on.
I don't know. Who knows? You know, Harley was Queen of Cosplay last year. We'll probably see a lot of Wonder Woman this year. Who knows? Maybe Domino will rule 2018. We'll see.
Yeah, it's an easy it's an easy costume to cosplay for sure. I mean, we're already seeing it, like you showed the pictures. So.
Oh, all right, guys. So, you know, we got some more stuff that's getting ready to come out this year, or I shouldn't say this year. I should actually say this week. And one of those is going to be the return of Voltron. Voltron to Netflix. It comes out on Friday. Now, I don't know if you guys have been watching or were interested in watching, but the original Voltron is what was a classic. This remake that DreamWorks Animation did on Netflix has been an absolute smash. It's got toys out there that we've seen on the shelves more than we saw for Green Lantern the animated series, but I'm still upset about that. But in any case, so now what we have to see is that we're in the third season. The Black Lion is down because Shiro is gone or missing or whatever, what have you, and now Lotor is coming to bear. If you guys know or have seen Voltron, what did you guys think of the first two seasons, and are you looking forward to this season?
Yeah, I caught the first season. I haven't actually watched the second season. I'm just running, as we were talking about in pre-show. We're all kind of behind on the various fandoms and shows.
I know, right?
Trying to catch up on, but yeah, I mean, it was really good. I think that Netflix has been doing a great job on their animation lately. It's obviously kind of a burgeoning field for them. Bringing back fan favorite shows is a thing. They just came out with Castlevania. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see more because it was a high quality show. And obviously, I mean, come on, we all watched Voltron when we were kids. So I mean, it's awesome to see those kind of fandoms come back into the modern.
Absolutely.
What about you, Eric? Did you see it?
No, I did watch Voltron as a kid. I had some of the toys. Just since I don't have Netflix, I don't know if I'll be watching this one. As we were talking about before we went on the air, I just finished Daredevil season 1 today because I have it on Blu. So I'll be buying season 2, which is out later this month at some point. And Jessica Jones is out the same day. But yeah, I'm late.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about Voltron. Dido, why don't you talk about Voltron?
I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah, I know. Dido, what do you think about Voltron? Are you excited for it to come back? Dido, I know you're here. I heard you. You said you're here. So where are you? Where is he? Is he there or is he not there?
He could be having some mic issues.
He must be having mic issues. Of course he's having mic issues. It's like he's talking, but you can't really hear him. Ah! Pantomime. Pantomime. Are you excited to see Voltron or not?
Through the art of dance.
We can see him but not hear him. It's hilarious.
I know, right? That is so funny. We can see him but not hear him.
Show us an interpretive dance. Your feelings on the Voltron animated series on Netflix.
Right? Oh man, that's gonna be funny. Oh
right,
boy,
we'll have to let him chime in on his thoughts if and when his mic gets back up here.
Man, we gotta get him squared away. I don't know what we're gonna do with that guy. But another thing that's getting ready to come out this Friday is The Dark Tower. Now, I was not interested in seeing The Dark Tower at first, but after I saw the trailer, I was blown away by it, and I was like, man, I gotta go see that thing in the movie theater. And so much so, in fact, that the Big Kahuna got us theater passes for this Thursday. I can't wait to go and see it. What did you guys think of The Dark Tower? Did you read the books? And are you looking forward to this adaptation? Hello. Anyway.
I actually haven't read the actual novels, but I did read a little bit of the comic book adaptation, which was very, very good. I like the fact that apparently, I don't know enough about it to speak with any accuracy. So please, fans, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Dark Tower kind of insinuates that all of the various Stephen King universes are tied together in some way. Okay. Yeah, are interconnected in some way, which is a very cool thing because I love alternate realities, alternate dimensions, and whatnot. I love Idris Elba. He's a badass. And I love Matthew McConaughey. I think that, people kind of make fun of the all right, Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
But watch him in True Detective. Watch him in like Time to Kill. He's a phenomenal actor when he wants to be. When he puts in the work, he looks like very, very frightening in this, and sallow. Even he looks like he lost some weight to maybe make himself look more gaunt or something.
Right.
The trailer looks badass. A friend of mine was like, "Yeah, I didn't really care for the trailer." I'm like, "Did we watch the
same trailer? Right?
Same trailer." It's like, what? That trailer was so hype. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was, man. Yeah, it was. Eric, what'd you think of the Dark Tower trailer, or do you not really partake in this kind of thing?
Well, I haven't read the books, because here's where it gets awkward. I never learned how to read. But,
that's why he's into comics. He just looks at the pretty pictures.
The pretty pictures,
my articles are written by Cub Scouts. I just dictate the words. But yeah, the footage looks cool. It's maybe one I'll see on demand, because I go to only so many movies per year. But Idris Elba's geek cred is definitely rising. I mean,
super high.
He seems to be in something, you know, that's significant in some genre on a regular basis. So I don't know. Maybe he'll get to tick off that, you know, James Bond box at some point, but he's not getting any younger. So I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. He yeah, so he was, I mean, you're absolutely right, Eric. His geek credit is going through the roof. He was recently in Star Trek Beyond. He was in oh geez, oh Pete. He was another character in a recent fandom that I'm just spacing on, that I just had a few seconds ago.
Oh, you mean him being Heimdall in Thor, you know?
Well, yeah, he's also Heimdall in Thor. I mean, he's going to be coming out in Thor Ragnarok quite soon. So there's that. But he was in another. He was in Prometheus. He was in Prometheus, so he got his hands in the Alien universe. Yeah, he was in the Prometheus, which he actually had a really good role in Prometheus. So you know, he's got a sci-fi cred is legit. Like he's in Star Trek and an Alien universe. He's done. He doesn't need to do any more sci-fi, and he's there. He's good. He's good for life. Like, and now he's doing the Dark Tower. And he's a spectacular actor. So I'm glad that he's like diversifying like the actual roles that he's doing, because you know, after seeing him in oh my gosh, what was the name of that where he plays the cop in Britain? What was his name? Luther. Yeah, after seeing him in a dramatic role like Luther, you'd think that this guy would just be going after, you know, purely dramatic roles.
Right.
And the fact that he's, you know, he's not, you know, too good to be in those silly comic book movies is, or, you know,
a lot of other people do.
Franchise.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, you know, I mean, okay, buddy, you're better than Anthony Hopkins. You know, so no, I'm glad that I'm glad that his geek cred is legit, because he's gonna give us a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, he is. Now, I want to make mention to some of you guys that are watching over on Facebook. I apologize. The chat program that I have is having trouble with Facebook API, so it's not pulling in the chat. That's why you're not seeing it on the feed. So, hello to LGZ. I understand that you want to see the feed and everything. If you want to make a comment and have us, you know, read it and be off, my recommendation is to go to hit up our YouTube channel or to hit up our Twitch channel. You'll be on there. Lickety split, and we'll be able to chat and converse with you. I'm trying to keep an eye on the Facebook feed, but hey, I'm only one guy. I can only do so much. In any case, I hope did Dido get his audio problems fixed yet?
Let's find out. Dido?
He is still tinkering away. He's still tinkering away. I saw him just go right up underneath his desk. So there he is. His headphones is off, and he's doing a whole bunch of other stuff. So we'll leave him to that. He is here, and we'll be talking to him at some point eventually. But let's get to the last thing that we wanted to talk about before we hit the main topic, and that is the news that came out that the Transformers Transformers franchise just will not die. And it will not die because it's got a very powerful ally in the name of the WWE. I don't know how many time multi-champion WWE champion John Cena.
He's tied with Flair now.
Yeah, so
you gotta say it right. John
Cena. Anyway, yeah. So he is going to be starring in the film, taking the place of Mark Wahlberg as the guy that ate Mark Wahlberg. I think that's how the joke goes, something like that. So what do we think about John Cena being in a Bumblebee spinoff movie, man? I mean, I could say, I don't even know what to say. There's so many things you can say.
Okay, first things first. Why do we need a Bumblebee spinoff movie? Like, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but like, is that, I don't have little kids, so, you know, is that character so popular with little kids that they're like, give me a Bumblebee movie? Like,
yes.
He doesn't talk. He cries green liquid. Like, I mean, I just, you know, it's not appealing to me specifically. That doesn't mean that it's not appealing at all, but, you know, are going to be other Transformers? Is it going to be like Transformers Light? What? But I mean, I don't exactly think that John Cena is a star power cash cow or anything like that. But
man, please, the C Nation is huge, dude. C Nation is huge. You can't see me. And you know, speaking of, you know, fun fact, we went to go see the last show at the Joe. The last throw at the Joe this past weekend. Good time. Cena was there.
According to Wendy Wonka on Facebook, she said that John Cena is, quote, a joke. I can't.
Wendy Wonka.
I can't disagree. I can't disagree with that as an actor. His acting skills have evaded me. I have.
Yo, man, what are you talking about? He should have won an Emmy for The Marine, man. Come on now.
Get the fuck out of here.
I mean, what about his guest starring role in that Amy Schumer movie?
All right, that was funny, but the thing, Trainwreck. But the thing is it's like, there are certain people that can have certain roles that would otherwise be bad in other things. Like, for example, the role that Flash Gordon had in Ted. Okay, it's like, no, that guy's not a phenomenal actor, but you put him in Ted and you play off the fact that they're like, oh my God, it's our childhood hero. It's Flash Gordon. You know, people went crazy about it, but yeah, was the guy like an acting god? No, by no stretch of the imagination. I think that John Cena is what John Cena is. I believe Dido said it earlier that he looks like he ate Mark Wahlberg. You know, so it's just a more muscular version of Mark Wahlberg.
Absolutely. That's why they got him. They couldn't get Mark Wahlberg. Get the very next best thing. A guy that looks like him and can pump iron and has a whole bunch of kids, or has a whole bunch of kids following him all the time. Yeah. Well, Eric, what do you think about this, man?
I don't know. Maybe this could be John Cena's breakout, like Santa with Muscles or Suburban Commando for Hulk Hogan. Anyone who remembers those masterpieces, or even No Holds Barred, rip them.
Now, see, No Holds Barred.
I actually liked Suburban Commando.
I didn't like Suburban Commando, but No Holds Barred, I mean, I liked it because it was so freaking cheesy. I loved it, man. It was great. I loved it. I don't know what to say. I should be ashamed of myself, but yeah, you know. Yeah.
I mean, John Cena, I haven't seen The Marine. I mean, he could be an okay actor. I mean, that's all wrestling really is it's physical. It's a much more physical version of acting. You know, it takes a lot. It's acting with endurance, but
I don't think his acting is better than his wrestling. I'll just say that.
Hey,
yeah,
now
I
look,
would agree with that.
You know, like I said, like I alluded to, we went to go see the last throw at the Joe. Wasn't expecting Cena to be there because he's kind of been taking a break from the WWE ever since he got engaged to Nikki Bella. But he was there, and the reason he was there is because the very first pay-per-view that he was in, which I think was the Royal Rumble, was at Joe Louis Arena. Was at the Joe like so many years ago. So he kind of came out. Who did he wrestle against? I even forget who he wrestled against. But he had a really big pop, and it was pretty fun. And yes, his match was by far the worst one of the night. It was the worst.
Am I there?
Yeah, you are there. Look at that. He's back, you guys.
Yeah, we just figured you were dead.
Yeah.
I almost died.
He died from frustration.
Anyway, so you want to play? Yeah, he wrestled Rusev. That's what he wrestled. Anyway, you want to play catch up to all the stuff that we kind of talked about before we jump into the main topic?
Real quick, all I wanted to say about Voltron is it's an adaptation. It's not like the original, which was Go Lion. It's not like the original of the US one, which is Voltron. It's its own new story with the characters that you're familiar with, and it's a great show. So shut the hell up, nerds, and watch it.
Yeah, I what he said. But I will say this: John Cena is getting absolutely no love over on the Facebook chat.
What are they saying? What are they saying?
The Marine is trash from Kyle Jackson, and basically Marcus Smith said, "Well, at least they didn't cast Roman Reigns." But Marcus Smith also had the second also funniest comment from himself, which is you can't see John Cena's acting skills, which is absolutely
that's fantastic.
I always say, ever since I started watching Lucha Underground, I frown even more on the work rate I see from wrestlers in WWE, because it's like watching it's like Little League compared to what you can see.
But nobody wants to wait forever to watch Lucha Underground. It's not.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. So there's that. I don't think that the Bumblebee movie is necessary either. But when you put arguably the second favorite Transformers character with arguably the third or fourth most popular wrestler of all time, put them together, it's going to make a whole bunch of fucking money. I mean, it just is. Let's be honest.
Those movies make money hand over fist.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just printing money. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it is. It's disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting. Anyway, guys, let's talk about a better topic. Let's talk about the DCEU, which is something that, we all know and love. I mean, hey, I am wearing a Green Lantern shirt, so you can't say I'm a Marvel fan, right? So, the news came out, a couple weeks. What'd you say?
He said he got that shirt as a gift.
No, I didn't. I bought it. Anyway, I bought it. Anyway, so the Flash movie has been titled, and it's gonna be called Flashpoint. Now, Flashpoint, as we all know, is the famous DC comic book series that launched the DC New 52. Which pretty much saw a soft reboot, I guess we want to call the soft reboot of the New 52, and kind of reset a lot of things back to the past. So with the controversy behind Ben Affleck being Batman, and is he going to get pushed out, is he not going to get pushed out, so on and so forth, I wanted to postulate the theory, and I have to thank Eric for kind of putting it in my head. Do we think that possibly the DCEU might be getting ready to reboot to solve a couple of problems that put itself in, from the standpoint that Snyder is falling from grace, and he's falling like a rock from grace. Ben Affleck being cast as Batman, as an older Batman that's older than almost everybody in the principal cast of Justice League, so he's almost being, I don't want to say aged out of the role, but this Batman is considerably older than say Superman, Wonder Woman. I mean, not Wonder Woman, but Superman, Cyborg, Aquaman, you get it. So, could they be killing two birds with one stone by using Flashpoint to soft reboot the DCEU and course correct and get somebody new in the Batman role? Discuss.
Yeah, I think it's very much a strong possibility. What would be funny is if we start out in the normal universe and it's Affleck, then we go to, I won't get too ahead of ourselves because we got to discuss Jeffrey Dean Morgan before this show's over. But, we see Thomas Wayne, then we come back to the present, and then it's like, I don't know.
Matt Damon.
I don't know. Who's I don't know.
Casey Affleck?
Zac Efron.
Zac Efron.
Zac Efron.
That just popped into my head. I don't know. Maybe Jimmy Fallon will be the new Batman. I don't know.
Jimmy Fallon. Wow, dude.
That could be an actual storyline reason for recasting, because we don't often get those. They kind of did it in the Matrix trilogy, if you remember, when Gloria Foster died and they replaced her with Mary Alice in Revolutions. And instead of going back and reshooting Gloria Foster's scenes, they just gave a storyline reason for why the Oracle looked different. Granted, they explained it more in the video game, which they expected everybody to play. But I think it's very possible, because it's hard for anyone who's remotely familiar with the source material to not think that Flashpoint is being used as some sort of a reboot. Now, where it gets released is anybody's guess, because if they want to do that, it has to get here before the Batman, because Matt Reeves is about to get going, presumably once he's done with his press for Planet of the Apes. So he's going to get, you assume he's probably got some story ideas cooking, but he doesn't have a screenplay. But Flashpoint does not have a director or even a writer, to my knowledge. So they
an ongoing problem.
Yeah, they have to get that Flashpoint out the door if they're going to reboot this version of Batman, at least soft reboot, to where, you know, everything. I think it's going to be everything else in this universe happened, except, you know, we're rolling it back with Batman. But it's a slippery slope, but it gives us a chance to have a full-on adaptation, because we touched on this a little bit on our show, but not too much. But so many people were pissed at the beginning of the Flash season 3 that they didn't do a straight-up adaptation of Flashpoint. It was more so the idea of Flashpoint and how they could apply it to the TV show. Because if anyone was expecting Thomas Wayne Batman and a full-on war between the Atlanteans and the Themyscirans, or rather Amazons, you weren't going to get it, because none of those characters were established on the show.
Absolutely.
And they don't have the budget for that. I mean, we saw a great adaptation with the Flashpoint Paradox animated movie.
Yes, it was great.
Think of what you could do in live action, and, you know, they're limited to how much the runtime is on those movies. So what could you do in a 2.5-hour Flashpoint movie? And again, not to get ahead of ourselves, because we're going to have to circle back to this, but will they be able to squeeze in Lauren Cohen as a joke? So I'll pass it over to you.
Yeah, Dido, what do you think about the possibility of them rebooting Batman? Like, would you even want them to? Would you even want Ben Affleck? Do you think Ben Affleck even needs to be removed from the
Look, oh my gosh, you guys cracked me up with Ben Affleck, man. I saw him in one Batman movie, and I think he was pretty decent as Batman. Everybody keeps saying, "Oh, he's too old. He's too old."
That's not the argument, though. I mean, I acknowledge that he was good.
Okay,
I think it was good too.
Then what's the problem, then? I mean, I'm trying to understand. I just don't get it. Let him be Batman. Okay. I don't understand how they can do Flashpoint without having even established anything of the Flash. I mean, granted, you know who he is in a TV show, but because DC doesn't want to use their TV show and their movies to be in the same universe, even though they kind of can because of the multi-universe thing, but they're still not gonna do it. People who go watch these movies that don't watch the TV show, and there are people out there that do that, don't know dilly squat about the Flash. So they're gonna establish a character, tell a story that's only comic book fans and people who watch the TV show and or watch the animated one are gonna know anything remotely about. Now, granted, I don't think they need to tell a what the hell they call that thing? Why can't I think of it? The beginning.
Origin?
Yeah, excuse me, sorry. The origin story. Yeah, I don't believe they need to tell an origin story as long as they tell a good story. But why do they need to reboot anything? They haven't even gotten out of the gate. They got one decent movie, script-wise, in my honest opinion, and out of the gate, and they're already talking about reboot. Let the thing flow. Put the Flash out there. It doesn't need to be Flashpoint. You don't need to get rid of Ben Affleck because you haven't really seen what he can do because he was only in one friggin' movie so far. When we watch Justice League, if he does a bad job, okay, get rid of him. I'm tired of hearing he's too old. I'm tired of people talking about all this other stuff. Friggin' Robert Downey Jr. was around the same age, if not the same age, friggin' 8 years ago when he started up Iron Man. Right. Shut up about him being old.
No. I do have to help you with that one. Contrasting Iron Man, which is a heavily CG-oriented role, versus a more physically active role as Batman. That's a little bit different.
You can be 40 years old and still be active. Come on now.
All right, fine. All right.
Active, running marathons and doing tough mutters and all that other stuff, and they're freaking older than that. Screw that bullshit that he's too old. Is he walking around in a walker? Does he have a cane? Is he in the friggin' roundabout Amigo, whatever, you know?
Right.
No,
hey, Josh.
So
Josh, help him out. Why would they be possibly even thinking about doing this? What is the problem? What is the problem of having an older Batman? What's the problem?
So there's a couple things to establish. Okay, so one thing is I'll mention a couple things that were said in the chat. So one thing Hand of Omega had said, which were a couple good points in the YouTube chat, which is they kind of already mined the well of The Dark Knight Returns, and there's not necessarily the reason for the character to be older. I do not have. I'm right with Dido on this. I don't have a problem with the fact that Ben Affleck is 44. He's 44. He has 6 more years until he's the same age as Robert Downey Jr. is right this moment, and he's still going to be in probably at least a few more Marvel movies. They could maybe kill him in Infinity War, but we still got some time until that comes. He's going to be 51 by the time that movie comes out. And, you know, he will have still acted in that movie. Yes, the character is more CG heavy. But do you think that Batman was the one fighting around in that warehouse scene? No, it was a stunt guy. It wasn't Ben Affleck. Do you think it's actually him flying out of the Batwing? No, it's a CG character. I mean, so, you know, we don't necessarily need him to be super, super physical. He could do some minor physical things. Now, we also saw him in the workout montage, right? The Sexy Ben montage.
Yeah.
The man is jacked. The man is jacked. I mean, if he's committed to anything, I mean, now, you know, you could always talk about Ben Affleck's led a rough life. Has anyone led a rougher life than Robert fucking Downey Jr.? Has anyone? In any movie universe. Like, has anyone led a rougher life than that guy? No. But you clean your shit up. You put away the alcohol, Ben. You put away the nanny, and you know, you just stay on the straight and narrow while you work out this movie contract. He seems like he's committed. Another thing that Hannah Omega had mentioned was the idea of that they could also use this to fix the mistake of establishing so much of this history that we never got to see. There is some possible truth in that, but one thing that isn't being talked about is that all of this is fan speculation. This is not something that DC or Warner Brothers or the creators have said. They gave us the title of a film. They said it's Flashpoint. People are making a bunch of speculations as to what it's going to mean, that it is going to be a soft reboot because that's what they did with the New 52. But we don't know that that's what's going to happen. It could just be, you know, to show us an alternate take. We know that some of DC's best stories, absolutely hands down, has been their Elseworlds stuff. It's been when they played with the sandbox that they have and the reality of all the. So we know these characters. We know the character of the Flash. He's been a long established character. Dido said it correctly in that we don't necessarily need an origin story. We're going to get a faux kind of origin story in Justice League, almost certainly, for both Cyborg, Flash, and Aquaman. Now, we'll get a full Aquaman story, and we already have an idea of what that's probably going to be like because we know that they're casting Orm. So we know it's going to be Ocean Master is his brother and arch villain. So we can have a speculation that's probably going to be like the Throne of Atlantis movie.
Right.
Ish. And we have an idea of what a potential maybe Cyborg movie could be like. They're going to go heavy on special effects, and they're going to go heavy on the fact that he's, you know, interactive with every piece of electronics on the planet. And they'll come up with some high-tech plot to fill that movie. But with regards to the Flash, his best stories are Rebirth. He has to die and come back. They're not going to probably do that in his first outing as in his own feature film. But one of the absolute best DC stories, not just Flash stories, one of the best DC stories was
Crisis.
The Flash.
Oh yeah,
was the Crisis, which was predominantly Flash based. All of the best DC events have been predominantly Flash involved.
Yeah, they do.
So the Flashpoint universe that they could create would be this interesting little side thing.
Yeah, it would.
And it would be such an interesting dynamic. But we also know that Ben's supposedly committed to at least 3 films. It hasn't been confirmed, but when he's saying, yeah, I'm on this and yeah, I'm going to be here for the duration, I doubt things are going to change. Yeah, he might be 52 and he's going to be really old Batman. What are they going to do then? They're already talking about potentially a Batman Beyond movie. So maybe they don't do it in the current continuity. Maybe they just flash forward 15, 20 years and he's old Ben with Terry McGinnis. But yeah, I don't have a problem with Ben Affleck being old, being quote unquote old. His character is aged in the movie. His character, not actually Ben Affleck. His character is much younger, or the actor is much younger than the actual character.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's. I don't think it's a big issue. I
mean, to me, that has been the number one issue. I think that the majority of people have had with this incarnation of Batman. It's never been that Ben Affleck has been bad, because I think he was great. I think he was one of the better parts of Batman vs Superman. Him and Wonder Woman and the few parts that she was in. To me, it's always been about the character's age versus the actor's age. Yes, he could have been a Batman that wasn't nearly as seasoned. I mean, he even alluded in Batman vs Superman that he's been at being Batman for 20 years already. And that's before Superman even showed up. And that is where I think a lot of people have an issue. And that's where a lot of people, that's where I have an issue too. Because they had such a raging hard-on to do the Dark Knight Returns thing, which was not a smart thing for them to do in the first place, but that's just me. But establishing an absolutely older Batman kind of takes away some of the adventures, growing pains, and establishment of Bruce and Clark becoming like the best friends and having this career together. So some people kind of probably feel a little bit cheated out of that. And besides, I know we'll talk about the whole Batman Beyond thing, you know, as we get to it. I think it's ridiculous. But to me, that's where the crux of the argument lies. It's not that Ben Affleck is old. It's that Batman is old. Your opinion on that, Eric?
I do see arguments on both sides of the fence. Yeah, I mean, it's perfectly fine to do an older Batman, but at the same time, you're also painting yourself into a corner when you're trying to build a cinematic universe off him. But that also leaves room for prequels. I mean, Reeves could ultimately be telling stories with Affleck's Batman, but it's just another actor who can go back and maybe see the death of Jason Todd and other stories. I don't know, we still don't know what movies these people want to make, but I would like to see Affleck in a solo movie because I really like him as the character, but I don't know, I think there's a lot of drama going on with him and Warner Brothers right now, because it's no coincidence that, you know, right before, you know, the day of the Hall H presentation, that a major outlet like the Hollywood Reporter publishes a story about Affleck possibly not sticking around. And that's also led to, you know, the diehard fanboys calling people out for fake news and crap.
Hashtag fake news.
Which is bull, because it's the Hollywood Reporter. These aren't wildly speculative. It's not clickbait. It's just to have it people get in when they're diehard Marvel or diehard DC. If it's not something you like, it's clickbait, it's fake news, and I think a lot of people don't even know the definition of clickbait anymore. But it's like, you know, people are saying the thing with Henry Cavill having to have his mustache digitally edited out from Justice League reshoots, fake news. No, it's true. Variety reported it. He's having to shoot Mission Impossible 6 and Justice League at the same time, and Paramount won't let him.
As an aside, I must say that stash was pretty damn boss though.
Yeah,
that stash was awesome. Yes, the stash was awesome.
My man knows how to grow some facial hair.
Yes, he does.
So wait, I wanted to point something out because I hate it when we don't comment on what the fans have to say in the chat. But Kyle Jackson has the comment. He says, "What if Flashpoint takes place in the alternate reality that Bruce dreamed about?" And then they basically make sense of it, that when the Flash came back and he said, "No, I came back too early," that ties into the Flashpoint movie. That would be spectacular writing if they did that. If in this Flashpoint universe, if you know, now a few establishing points. This isn't super spoilery. There's been an animated film, and there's been a comic book out for some time now. But in the Flashpoint universe, one of the first established things is that Superman never existed as we know him, and so he would have never stopped potentially the invasion of Zod, and then potentially been able to help the invasion against Darkseid. So well, and in fact, maybe Superman would have never been they would have never known that Superman ever came here, potentially Zod. But you know, Superman's this kind of skinny wimp, for lack of a better way to put it, in the Flashpoint universe. Then there's a war between the Atlanteans with obviously Arthur Curry, Aquaman, as the king, and the Amazonians with obviously Wonder Woman leading the charge there, and it's caused war throughout the entire planet. Now you have Darkseid come in. Yeah, obviously it would make sense that Flash would try to change that. So it could potentially make sense that the dreams that he saw of a potential, I don't know, another universe or something like that, could potentially, although Superman was evil, so it doesn't completely play, but it would be, but we don't know where he came from. We don't know what exactly where the Flash came from.
But it would have to be a retcon, because when they were shooting that scene, they were obviously just trying to build the Justice League.
Right.
But a lot of people, when the Flash was saying you were right about him, people thought he was talking about
Superman.
I believe it was Jay Oliva, who we know to direct a lot of these animated movies. He was a storyboard artist on Batman vs. Superman. And in an interview, he actually cleared something up about that scene, and he was like, "Who said we were talking about Superman?" He was basically insinuating he was Darkseid.
That who was Darkseid?
The he was
Darkseid.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it wouldn't completely
but
wash,
the whole thing where he said, you know, it's Lois, she's the key. The Lois is the key. You know, that type of thing. You know, I don't know. Maybe
because Lois is going to be the one to give the KO punch to Darkseid. Don't know it yet. She's going to give him the schoolboy roll up.
Jimmy Olsen's always taken him out before, so you know it's hard to say.
Jimmy Olsen's dead. That boy got his brain splattered all over the desert.
No, that was James Bartholomew Olsen. Okay, the real Jimmy Olsen is still out there.
Oh, okay, I see.
Henry
Smallville humor for the Smallville fans.
Right.
That was Henry James Olsen.
Yeah,
that's right. Henry
have a little brother also named James Olsen.
Yeah,
it was a family name. Come on.
Right. So anyway, so we got 10 minutes left. Dido, you've heard these two go back and forth. You've heard what I gotta say. Did it change anything, any of your perspective at all about why people are in it's kind of an uproar about maybe rebooting the DCEU, or you say just let it ride and let us try and get to Batman Beyond? Let's talk about that in a minute too. But what do you say?
I think people just really not happy with the casting choices. They're not really happy with a lot of the scripts. I mean, for me, looking at Man of Steel and looking at Batman versus Superman, I won't say they were horrible. I think they could have done a lot of things better. And I enjoyed Wonder Woman. I really did. And so I think a lot of people out there just don't particularly like the DCU, DCE, whatever. You know what I'm saying. So I think that because they know of the comic books and they know that apparently that it's a restarting point with this Flashpoint because they've done it in the comic books, they just speculating that they could do this in the movies as well because we don't like it and we want something else. We want something new. And
spoiler
personally,
alert, it is an adaptation.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I just want the movies to be good. Period. Every movie I go see, I want it to be good. I want to sit there and enjoy it. I don't want to feel disappointed. I don't want to feel like, oh, what could they have done better? You know, and Wonder Woman out of the DCEU is the only movie so far that's done it. Like, I don't see it being done any other way. I really hope Justice League does the same thing because though the trailer was not as impressive to me as Thor Ragnarok or the sneak preview of Infinity War, because I didn't know what the heck was going on. They were just showing scenes in the Justice League scenes not really alluding to anything, which could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. We don't know. I just hope that it's an entertaining movie. I walk out of that movie saying, I want to see more of this universe. That's what I wanted to do because be it Superman or be it friggin' Iron Man, I want the movie to be good.
All right. Well, so we got a few minutes left. I got a request to talk about Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I also wanted to talk about Batman, the possibility of them leading to Batman Beyond. So Eric wanted to talk about Jeffrey Dean Morgan. What were you going to say about Jeffrey Dean Morgan, my friend?
Yeah, we were kind of alluding to it earlier, but yeah, it's hard to talk about a Flashpoint movie without Flashpoint Batman, and it's just, and now that we say it out loud, it's another way to shoehorn Batman in some fashion into another DC movie.
Yeah,
but it's what makes money. But it's significant because we've seen several Batman Batmen in the comics. You know, we had John Paul Valley, Dick Grayson, you know, Damian Wayne, Thomas Wayne, no matter, you know, what future alternate reality you're talking about. But we've seen only Bruce Wayne in the movies. That's why some of us are hoping, you know, now that they're building out a full-out universe, maybe we'll get Dick Grayson finally, take up Cape and Cowl. That's another way for Affleck to bow out once because he's not going to be Batman forever, no matter how many he does. But yeah, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, you know, he's said in interviews for the past year or so that he would do a Flashpoint Batman. And once that news dropped, he was on Twitter and Instagram teasing Flashpoint and showing fan art of him embracing Lauren Cohen as the Joker. And if he's all for it, you know, this could be something great because he has the potential to be such a great Thomas Wayne Batman. And how great was it that they stumbled into perfect casting just by having him as a cameo doing a favor to Snyder in Batman versus Superman. But
now he would be great. He would be absolutely fantastic as Flashpoint Batman without question.
Now you do have to point out things for the fans, which is that Jeffrey Dean Morgan, the reason he even matters is because in the Flashpoint universe, Thomas Wayne, father of Bruce Wayne, is Batman, and Flash goes to look for him thinking it's Bruce Wayne, and is like, oh shit, you're not Bruce. So yeah, it would be very interesting.
He would be fantastic.
There was just one other thing I wanted to point out, and it's some people were saying he's too old to play Thomas Wayne, and he's 51. And I think that's, you know, not to do nerd shaming because there are people who maybe aren't as familiar with the comics, just watch the movies. But it's what we'll call the people who try to be know-it-alls, or they are fakies. It's just we don't care if you don't read enough comics, but if you don't act like you do, because there are people who took to Facebook and said, no, he's too old for this role. It's like,
which is tacitly ridiculous, honestly, to when you think about it. I mean, Hand of Omega over on YouTube is just saying, think how much better Ben Affleck may have been as a Thomas Wayne Batman. I mean, hey, it might have worked. I mean, honestly, if they had gone with a younger Batman and done Flashpoint, Ben Affleck been Thomas Wayne Batman, it probably would have worked too. Now, you know, we're running low on time, but I wanted to briefly touch on the possibility of them leading to a Batman Beyond Batman, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. There's no way that they're going to do Batman Beyond. And the reason why is because, as we remember, you know, it's established that Batman Beyond takes place maybe some 30 or 40 years after Batman's prime. Like, he's an extremely old man. You just started with Batman. You just started with Superman. Just started with Wonder Woman. You're gonna fast forward and disjoint the continuity by making a Batman Beyond movie? No, I'm sorry. The likelihood of that happening is 0 to none, in my opinion. What do you guys think?
Yeah, you know, you're probably right, Ken. It's an interesting concept, and the Batman Beyond franchise, you know, which kind of came out of the animated series and became really popular, you know, is a fan favorite kind of character, a shoot off of an alternate Batman. But yeah, it would be a very weird thing to do. But they've done some things that are uncharacteristic. The fact that they told I mean, we kind of got that with Captain America, right? We got the World War II story, and we got the World War I story with Wonder Woman. So they're not completely averse to doing things that aren't chronologically in the same time frame as the rest of the universe. I wouldn't say it's absolutely impossible, but it would be an interesting concept, but I don't necessarily see it happening. But I'm going to correct a statement I made earlier. Robert Downey Jr. was the exact same age Ben Affleck is right now when he started as Iron Man, and Ben Affleck already has 2 appearances in the DCEU proper at this point. So
no,
I think he's already
I mean, it's apples and oranges, man. I mean, you got Batman, you got Iron Man. You can't really compare the two as far as like the physical toll that they would take on the role. But as you alluded to, also Batman's being played by a stunt double, so really, who cares anyway, right? So in any case, guys, we're running low on time. You know, we got about less than 2 minutes left. We got any final thoughts that you guys kind of want to get out there before we close the show?
I'll just say quickly that who knows if we get a Batman Beyond movie, because it came close to happening before Batman Begins, before WB shit canned the script like they do with so many, and they were kicking around the idea after Dark Knight trilogy where they wanted to go next, but it's probably not going to happen anytime soon. But it's a movie I want to see in my lifetime. So I hope it happens.
Right. Dido, Josh.
I'm just gonna let Hando Vimego know that we're not getting Shia LaBeouf as Terry McGinnis' Batman. Okay.
Yes,
it's not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen.
He is gone certifiably insane.
Yeah. Dido?
I want Michael Keaton as the freaking old Bruce Wayne in Batman.
Yes!
Spectacular.
Yes, that would be spectacular. That would be fantastic. Anyway, guys, you know, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. It's been a great show. I want to thank Josh, Eric, and Dido for joining me tonight. We'll be back next week, Tuesday at 9 p.m. Start checking out our Twitch. We're going to start to stream a lot more. We'll see you guys later.
Peace
out.
Peace out.